The second question to check motivation is, do I care? When you make something important, you will see how it relates to your life. If you've ever heard yourself or someone else say, "When am I ever going to use this?" you might want to start asking a question about where the materials you are learning connect with your life, and figure out how it applies to you. So what kinds of things do you pay attention to? Well, everyone pays attention to things that are dangerous. We also pay attention to things we deem important. Have you ever had the experience of walking through an airport and being barely aware of all the announcements that are happening until you hear your name? If you hear your name, suddenly your name comes through all those words, all that noise, and you can hear it. Why? Because your name is important. The next thing we pay attention to are the unusual things. This tree literally grew up around this bicycle that was leaned up against it. And now the bicycle is 6 feet in the air, growing out of the middle of this tree. Would I pay attention to this if I were walking through the forest? You bet, this would definitely catch my attention. So next, there's an awareness test. It has to do with paying attention to what's important.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make?
Go!
The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
Did you see the moonwalking bear? Did you get the 13 passes? Usually you get one or the other. What is attention getting for you? What are you paying attention to? What you deem important? We have a giant filter for our awareness in our brain, and it's a good thing too. If we had to pay attention to everything that was around us all the time, we couldn't pay attention to anything. If you think about the sensory input that we have at all times, room temperature, the texture of our clothes on our bodies, certain scents that are in the air, the sounds, we couldn't possibly focus on anything. This giant filter is called the reticular activating system, or RAS. It is there to filter out all the things that are not important to us, and it only lets in what? Those things that are dangerous, those things that we have deemed important, and those things that are unusual. So how do you find importance? When you make something important, you see how it relates in your life. Let's take buying a car, for instance. If you ever decided on a model and color of your car, you might have been thinking that you really don't see that combination. As soon as you buy it, you now see it everywhere. Why? Because your RAS has made that important. It's your car. And now you're going to let that through your filter system, and you're going to see it always. So how does what you're learning connect with your life? And why should you care? Do you care? You will if it's important to you. Take a look at this list of bachelor degrees that pay the highest. What do you notice about them? They all have math in common. If a student thinks they don't have the right kind of brain to learn math, they're cutting out a huge earnings opportunity. A student I know told me once she loved science, but she was so bad in math she could never do anything in science. She valued science, but she didn't believe she could learn the math she would need to pursue a career in a science field. The answer to the first question, "Can I do it?" was no. As teachers, whether we are in the classroom or in our lives, we can help others by letting them know they can learn. More than any other subject, mathematics filters students out of programs leading to scientific and professional careers. What solutions to our world problems are we missing because the people who could solve them think they can't learn math? Please return to the Survey tab.